Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deja Mule. Today we have a tattoo artist. He's a painter. He's likes to draw as well. His name is Anthony Sanchez.
Hello.
So, Anthony, how long have you been into tattooing?
Right now I've been tattooing for 21 years. Well, professionally I've been tattooing for 21 years.
Okay, and then are you based out of like San Jose, or where do you usually where's your shop at?
I've been tattooing out of the Oakland area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a shop that I work out of in Alameda. I honestly haven't been there in a while because I have more side work that comes in. People like me to come to their home and have more of a private session, just, and I do larger pieces. So that's really what, I gear my artwork towards, is like larger, more custom pieces. And,
yeah. Okay. I remember you were talking on the way over here too, saying that you had somebody hit you up recently. They were asking for a hand tattoo for their first tattoo.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy, and it's one of the things that I had no idea what I would get out of tattooing, like, as a reward, but just being able to help somebody, like, not make a poor decision. I specialize in cover-ups. And it's like, I don't want something that I put my time, my effort, my everything that I put into a tattoo to have it, be covered up because somebody just didn't take the time to think, is this going to be something that I want to have on me for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And it's a big commitment for, and unfortunately a lot of people don't look at it like that. So sometimes it hurts the pocketbook, but it's better, I was even telling a friend, I'm like, I've been in shops where they're like, screw them, if they change their mind later, that's on them. And it's like, I still, I could make a buck another way without having to,
I think it's
be part of somebody's wrong choices.
I think that's a good, a moral thing to do anyways. Because, I know when I got this tattoo, I told the artist, I was like, hey, you could go up to my hand if you want. And he even said, too, he's like, I don't do hands unless you have a full sleeve already. But, I mean, I'm kind of glad he didn't do that because it's already kind of the pain in the ass where I get lazy and I don't want to put sunscreen on. So I'll just wear a long T-shirt over it, and it'll be able to cover up. But if I had it on the hand part, then, it could get discolored and stuff and look really weird over time. But, yeah. And then, it also took me 28 years for me to even want a tattoo. I've always kind of wanted one, but when did you get your first tattoo?
Well, yeah. See, I got my first tattoo when I was 27. Same type of thing. I'm 52 years old. So when I wanted a tattoo, then the only people that had tattoos were bikers or people from prison or military. Yeah. You know what I mean? A couple, riskier women would have a rose or a little something, but I mean, it really wasn't. And it wasn't like it is today where it's such an art form. I'll look through magazines today and be like, I'm not worthy. I'm just wow, how are they putting that on skin? And it's even this piece on my arm, Juan Gonzalez from Salinas did this, and I had been tattooing for about 15 years when I had him do this piece, and we won Best Tattoo of the Day for it at the San Francisco Tattoo Expo, the Body Art Expo. But when I was getting the tattoo, I figured, what a great idea. I know everything about the industry, so not only will I get a tattoo, but I'll get 6 hours of watching everything that he does and be able to, hopefully ask some questions, and it'd be not only a tattoo, but a tutorial as well. You know? So I was that's the way I was looking at it.
Yeah, taking notes as he's tattooing.
Totally. But it was crazy. As soon as he got started, he started dipping in the green and the violet to make a flesh tone on his own in the tube.
Weird.
Bob Ross would be on a palette. I was like, whoa, this guy's taking it to a level that I didn't know anything about yet. And then later on, I saw that Nico and other tattoo artists, Mike DeVries, who was actually the person that I had the original appointment with, they do the same style, but I had no idea. I hadn't sat, like I said, with anybody that did color tattoos, with this type of photorealism.
Yeah. And then what is it? It's So it's of a woman. Did you pick that woman in particular, or did the artist pick it?
So it's my ex-girlfriend.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's my ex-girlfriend. I didn't want her specifically. It wasn't like I have my girlfriend on my arm and now I'm all brokenhearted, because that's not even the case. It was honestly, I wanted a pin-up for so long on this arm, and I wasn't going to get anything below like my t-shirt length. But when I started professionally tattooing in a shop, and I went through my apprenticeship, I didn't have any visible tattoos. And my boss was giving me so much pressure. He was like, I wouldn't go to a bald guy to get a haircut. And I'm like, and this is when I had hair. So, but yeah, so I got this piece, and I always had envisioned a pinup girl on this arm, but I looking up like artists that I enjoyed, like Olivia that does pinups and stuff like that, and a couple other Vargas girls and stuff. But everyone that I really liked were ones that were like super popular, that were like on cards and on like so many different things that I'm sure there's a couple tattoos out there that somebody had. And just while I was looking for my pinup, my 40th birthday, she dressed up as a schoolgirl as a little gift for me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you'll be the schoolgirl. And I just took a bunch of pictures of her, figured out what pose I wanted. Yeah, so
at least you know that no one else will have that photo.
Exactly.
Of her.
And that was the whole intention of it. So, and yeah,
it came out really good though.
No, it was amazing. It was a great experience. Yeah, we won best tattoo of the day for it, and I only had a small amount of money, and I thought I was just going to come and get part of it done. And I told him I only have $450 for the day, so whatever you can get done for the day. And he charges like $125 an hour back then.
Damn.
So I was like, okay, no problem. Like, go in there and spend like 3 hours with him, and And so he got into it and had so much of it, a good portion of it done 3 hours into it.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, this is going to be tattoo of the day. And after I said that, like 7 or 8 people said, that's tattoo of the day. That's tattoo of the day. And yeah, so he's like, I'm like, bro, we're like 5 hours into this now, 4 hours into this. And, I told you all I have is $450. He's all, are you going to enter it in the competition? I'm all, absolutely. He's all, then I'm just going to finish it. So he just finished it for me. I called him back 2 days later. I'm like, buddy, I owe you more money. Like, this is insane. Like, I get compliments on it. I'm looking at it, just drooling on it because it's so good. And he's like, don't even trip. Like, I got called on Sunday. I hadn't done any really good tattoos except from you. I had no other appointments. So all I really did was a couple little scratchers. And Sunday they were calling my name. And I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. And everyone's like, dude, they're calling you up front. So I guess that's when he won best tattoo for the whole competition with my tattoo.
Damn.
So he won best tattoo of the day and then best overall tattoo for the whole weekend for this tattoo. And that one actually had a cash prize, a bunch of different stuff. So, yeah.
That's like a
so
good
he's
way.
like, we're even. And so, yeah, it was just, everything just unfolded just perfectly for that. That
That's
was
what's
amazing.
good is you had the mindset of be like, okay, I have the amount that I want to pay for it. And then everyone else is recognizing that it's going to be like, if you were to enter it, it would be a top winner. And it's kind of funny. It's like, if you were to do like kind of a bad way of doing it, it'd be like thinking that you're going to get the award-winning tattoo, knowing you don't have the money.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck, well, now I'm in debt.
No, I thought about that. I'm like, what a great way to get a bunch of tattoos. You get,
right?
You get awards and but yeah.
I bet you there are people like that who just have like the greatest ideas or something and then just find a tattoo artist willing to do it. But that's pretty risky. That's a gamble.
Totally.
Yeah. So what made you want to go into tattooing then?
So it's kind of crazy. When I first got asked to tattoo or to learn to tattoo, I first got asked by these shady people that were at a payphone. This is back in the day when there was phone booths on every corner. And I was actually calling about a job, and this guy asked me, he's like, "You looking for a job?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's all, "Can you draw?" And I just thought it was funny because like I've been drawing my whole life, so I was like, well, yeah, I draw well. And he's like, "Oh, you want to be a tattoo artist?" I'm like, dude, I've never tattooed, and I don't have a machine or anything. He's like, "I prefer my artists to not own their own equipment," and da 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 da. And I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, everything about it just seemed shady. So I was like, no,
Here, take
I'm
these.
cool.
Gives you just random needles.
Which was crazy because my first shop that I opened was in Dublin, and he had a tattoo. One of his shops that he had was in Dublin, and I heard about. I don't like talks negative about anybody else's shop, but I heard a lot of rumors that shop was pretty shady before I moved into town, and because they were already closed. I heard, as a matter of fact, I heard they were there, and when I went to go get my business license, they completely were like, you're the first tattoo shop to be in Dublin. I'm like, no, there was Tattoo U and there was Dublin Tattoo, and they're like, you're the first person to come down and get a business license.
Oh shit. I'm
like, well, there was 2 tattoo shops in Dublin that didn't even have a business license before I opened, which was crazy. But anyway, so yeah, that was the first experience, and then I was airbrushing T-shirts in Las Vegas, and I had basically not been making any money airbrushing the T-shirts, and I was airbrushing them in a tattoo shop, smoke shop on the Las Vegas Strip. And none of the money was coming in, and I was designing tattoos for people walking in, and the other artists weren't able to draw it as good as I had done the tattoo, and they were getting ticked at this one guy, Painless Wayne. He had the line, oh, I don't feel a thing. And they're like, gosh, I thought you said it didn't hurt. Your name's Painless Wayne. He's like, I don't feel anything. Like, that's a horrible joke, buddy. But yeah, I would sit there and draw out the tattoos, and so the guy was like, dude, why don't you learn to be a tattoo? Why don't you learn to tattoo? You're already doing all this stuff, designing them. Like, start tattooing. And I just was so in love with my airbrushing, and because the art hadn't evolved yet, it was literally like pick number 72 off page 55, and Mickey Mouses that were on people didn't even look like Mickey Mouse. So I was like, I'm an artist, dude. I'm not a tattoo guy, and that's kind of the way I looked at it. But then I was airbrushing a motorcycle. I had been airbrushing motorcycles for a while. I beat Jesse James, Arlen Ness, Ron Sims, all the guys that you see on TV. I beat all of them with a couple show bikes that I painted. One was a kit bike that you just literally put together in from a box. And he had found a kit bike through Big Bear Choppers, put it together, and so we placed best in show for that with a kit bike from a box. So it's like the only thing that won that was the paint job, which was amazing. But the guy called me like about a month or two later, and he was like, hey, bro, can you draw this up for me? I want to get it tattooed. So I drew it up. He paid for it, obviously, and then came back about a month or two later and was like, what do you can you take a look at it? What do you think? Well, dude, that doesn't look like anything that I drew. He goes, I know. And he's all, I wanted it to be on my arm or right next to the mural that you did on the tank so that people could see my arm in the tank. I thought that would be totally cool. I'm all, that's a great idea. Yeah. He's like, well, it doesn't look like that now. He's all, can you fix it? I'm like, bro, I've done one tattoo on myself. My first tattoo, I literally went into a tattoo shop, and it was Sherry's in Concord with purple hair. And she was like, what do you want? And I'm all, this tribal band, and I showed it to her. I just drew it like this little Indian tribal band around my ankle. And I'm like, yeah, this tribal band. She tossed me a tape measure, and she's all, I'm all, what do I do? She's all, measure it out. How I'm all 9 inches. She's all, it's $25 an inch. And that was like 1995, and
that's very 90s for tribal.
Totally. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And so I thought that was just ridiculous, and I've just always been the kind of person to do stuff myself anyway. Yeah. And I had a book with Lyle Tuttle's tattoo museum, and he had like a bunch of old school machines and some jailhouse machines and stuff, some primitive stuff. But I'm like, that's just a rotary motor. That's just a point, and I just figured out it was pretty archaic. I used a safety pin for the first time. It was very thick, but it got the job done. I mean, that was the very first tattoo I did, and I just did it on myself.
Still pretty dark too.
I know, isn't it? I've never gone over it.
Wow. I think Maddie's tattoo is with a pen, right? Or what was it? or your friend Corey, your first tattoo, it was like the
No, it was
the
like,
cup.
it was a legit machine.
Oh, it was a legit machine. I thought
It was a dorm
pen.
room tattoo, but it was a real machine.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's like a coffee mug.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was like some makeshift pen tattoo thing.
No.
Okay, I was way off. Dang.
But yeah, so the guy came to me and was like, you've done your own tattoo, like, why can't you? And I'm like, bro, I have no equipment. I know nothing about the industry. He's all, we'll research it, but I'll buy you all the equipment that you'll need. I just need you to fix this tattoo. So I told him I needed this book. I needed a couple of, machines and stuff. And he spent a bunch of money and ordered me all the stuff. And I fixed his tattoo. It came out amazing. And so all his friends that were going to the guy that he went to all saw the garbage that he did, and then saw what I did with it, and they all wanted to come to me. And it was kind of crazy because the motorcycle industry had really taken a turn for the worst as far as like paint jobs, because like all the custom paint jobs went from all these skulls and flames and everything to more flat black and a lot of red pinstriping, or that old school Von Dutch style and everything. So like all of a sudden I noticed like my airbrushing was not doing it anymore. And that's all I've ever really wanted to do, is just be able to, make my money off of doing what I love, and it's, and I've always drawn skulls really well. It's not all that I do, of course, but I've always, drawn the darker stuff. Everyone always asks me, like, where do you get the ideas for the dark stuff? Well, that's all the stuff I saw in the dark when I was a kid, and like, looking in the corners and like, what the hell?
So was it difficult, like, having to do a cover up as one of your second tattoos, I guess?
Yeah, it definitely was. One of the things that I always look at cover-ups differently than most people, because I want to write a book about for professional artists about how to look at a cover-up, because I've been in too many shops where gosh, I want to be able to say something like, I could cover that better. Don't tell them they only can go black, and that they have to go twice as big and twice as dark. Every time I hear that, it makes the hair raise up on my back. The feeling that I get when somebody comes in and says, it looks better than I even imagined. And you're like, nobody imagines that they want a crappy tattoo.
Yeah.
They imagine it's going to look really cool, and to think that, wow, it came out better than they even hoped for.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it's the ultimate compliment. Like, my road's been pretty long. I mean, I've airbrushed, T-shirts to begin with, then motorcycle tanks, and now the tattooing, and murals in places all the time. I mean, so I can put it on the hood of your car. I can put it on your kid's bedroom or in your man cave. I can, pretty much put it anywhere that you want, and you're like, you know what, Aunt, I like your artwork enough that I'm willing to die with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, that's the ultimate compliment. And
I never even thought about that. Just being like, that is gonna be with them until their body decays.
Yeah. It's to me, it's like, wow. I really take it really to heart that I really have to put everything that I have into this tattoo, and that's what I tell people. I am not the best tattoo artist out there. I am safe, I am clean, and if you like my work, then I will give you the absolute best tattoo that I can give you.
Yeah.
And I commit to that because that's what I want to do. And that's the one thing. It's like, that's the one thing that I love about art, and we were talking about this before I was coming here, because I was trying to pick like what pictures I wanted to bring and stuff, and I'm like that, and I'm like, every time I try and pick something that I think people are going to be like, oh, that's awesome, that's not the thing they like at all, and then they like something that I'm like, okay, but it's the same thing. It's like I'm always putting everything I have into. It's my passion. It's like, even if I'm drawing a skull, I'm drawing a rose, I'm drawing a cartoon character, time just flies for me.
Yeah.
I trip on my buddy tells me all the time. He's like, bro, you need to work on the time management thing, like while you're telling people that it takes this amount of time, because it's just like I get into it and I'm flowing. I'm in that zone, and it's like, so I'll sometimes step away from stuff and then be like, That was 2 hours.
Yeah,
Later.
right?
That was yeah.
I remember,
So-
I think I had COVID like a month ago, and 2 months ago. Wow, it's been that long. And whenever I was sick, I was just like, I don't really feel like playing video games, and I'm kind of like just wanting to chill. So like, I recently got an iPad for drawing and stuff, and I was drawing, I think, consecutively for like 2 days straight, like around 10 hours each, because like you said, you just get sucked into it. And then whenever you're like, okay, I think I'm gonna stop here, and they're like, no, wait, I see something, I gotta change it now. And
Have you been playing around on Procreate?
yeah.
Oh
But
my
like,
gosh.
I'm super basic. Like I'm more into like illustration, or not into. It's just that's my style that I feel like I'm more into. But I wanted to show some of your artwork as well. So we have tattoos I believe are gonna be the first part on the TV.
Okay.
So, actually, the second one. Because that's just your page. If you want to follow him, Anthony1tattoo_. So that one we saw is Yoda. That one's cool. It's like Starry Night Yoda.
Yeah, well, there's a universe going on the other side, and you got the Millennium Falcon on coming around the corner. That's a big old sleeve that we're working on.
Oh, so it's still in progress?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah, there's the Millennium Falcon right there.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a whole Star Destroyer on the other side, the X-Wing fighter. Got probably about 25 hours into that piece. It's honestly like the girl I was dating looked at me and she's all, "Did you know you could do work that good?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's just having somebody come in when it takes like time to, have multiple sessions as opposed to just,
Yeah.
one sitting."
Exactly. And that's the thing that people don't realize, is that like how long a tattoo takes.
Right.
And it's like some people, they expect like it to be perfect, but if you're not willing to pay for the amount of time for the artist, then it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
But let's see another one. We have that one's a skull. It's like black and white with flames. That one's really cool. I like it. It definitely has an airbrush feel to it.
Yeah, that's everybody always asks about my color saturation and my I can't get away from the airbrush. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
just yeah.
That's cool. It just means your signature style.
Yeah.
Now let's check out the next one. That one, it's like almost like a Indian sort of.
It's a lotus mandala type of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say mandala, but I
Yeah,
knew it was a
it's-
lotus for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to work off of the mandala, the lotus petals, and then just kind of give it some filigree.
Yeah. Dang, that looks cool. Shading's really good.
Thank you.
Wow. And then I think one more. Yeah, that was it. I really like the colors on this one.
That's a cover up.
That's a cover up. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
I don't know if you have it before, but yep, there it is. So you see the infinity sign in the middle.
Oh.
And then there was a J on the one side, and then that's a G. So the J actually comes outside of the loop, and that's the first set of pearls. And then the bottom of the infinity symbol is the second set of pearls. So that's the one thing that I want to talk, like I was talking about, that I really want to be able to convey to people, is that you don't have to go twice as big. And if you can incorporate stuff that's in the tattoo into stuff to hide it, then you can work around all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny because I grew up without a lot of money, and my mom, one of the first things I did to know that, when I knew that I could draw, my mom was like, "Ice cream man's coming," and I'm like, I'm like, "Ice cream man's coming," and she's like, "We don't have any money, sweetie," and so I went in the hallway and just started drawing money, and she's all, "It doesn't work that way," and I'm like, "Well, it will work that way one day for you." And but what was I saying about that with the picture?
There's a cover up. Using the previous design to include the new design.
Right, growing up without a lot of money. So my
Yeah.
mom used to scribble on a lot of paper all the time because she saw me always drawing. So she'd scribble on a bunch of pieces of paper, and then she'd be like, "Turn it into something." And so I'd look at all this scribbly stuff and I'd be like, okay, I guess I can turn that into like a boat. And that kind of looks like a, and so I would start looking at these scribbles as like, what could I turn it into?
Yeah.
And I often pat my mom on the back for that one, because I think that's where I get a lot of being able to visualize what can we do with this?
That's actually a really good technique, because I know whenever we were bored when we first started dating, we would do that where you draw like a shape on like a piece of paper, and then the other person has to draw a shape and stuff, and then together you just draw some random picture. But it's like good to be able to see, like, maybe you'll see a face in like the scribbles or something, or like even when I was younger, I would be looking at clouds and stuff and saying, that looks like a freaking rabbit or something.
Yeah.
But I've always been into that.
That's what I love, the acrylic pours, like this table that you have here. Like I've been getting into the acrylic pours. I haven't posted much of those on Instagram because they don't photo that well. But yeah, they're just so relaxing to do, because it's just like to watch it, just like
it's just physics.
Yeah, the cells all just it's awesome. But
should make an acrylic table.
When I saw this, I was thinking about it. I was like, huh.
These are like, they're super trendy right now, because like I remember I got into looking at river tables. You know what those are, right? It's like people get called like live edge wood or something like that.
Okay.
And so they'll have like cutouts into the wood, and then they'll do like the epoxy in the middle of the cracks, and then they'll smooth it out so it looks like it's like a flowing river. We actually have, her dad made one right there for us for an island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really cool looking too. And it's like, I got really obsessed. And some people, they can make it look like super clear, where they even add like props so you look like you get on Michael's, and it looks like a beach scene, and they'll use a hairdryer to make the bubbles and stuff.
No way.
It's trippy. Do you want to look up river tables?
Yeah, sure. I was going to say we should remember to add in pictures of both of these in post.
What?
Of both of the tables.
Oh, yeah. I can add those. Look at the first one. Yeah, they're so freaking crazy. See if you can go to do not a YouTube video. Not a YouTube video, because I don't want to get copyright stricken. But people do crazy shit with these. And it's like, they get them for like businesses. It's like, dude, if I had a business, I would do that. Some of them, they make it look like it's molten lava. But like, they're really expensive, like, and understandably so, because I guess the live edge table itself is really expensive, because it's like solid wood. Right. But then the actual work that goes into doing it, which I had a coworker told me it's really easy. Like his neighbor did it, and he had no skills in like woodworking or working with epoxy like that. I really like that one that you're already on. Is just, you could see just the side of the table.
That one's amazing. The one that looks almost like you can look into it.
Yeah. But I was trying to look it up.
Cool too.
Oh yeah, that one looks like it's like a freaking koi pond.
Wow. What a trip.
Yeah. So I was like thinking, I was trying to convince her we should get one because this place is pretty small, so we only have like a dining room table. But like, this would take up too much space, but also they're like $2,000 probably, $2,000 to $3,000 depending on where you could find it. And that's if they're not like already well established, or if it's going to be like an upcoming like, artist.
Right.
But yeah, I really like those. But I would kind of be afraid of using it. Like I kind of felt like that with this one. Like I was afraid of like, getting stains on it, or I know there's a resting period where you can't put hot foods on it. Otherwise it'll like create a crease in the epoxy. Yeah, this is epoxy. But yeah, these are really cool. And the acrylic pours thing, I would say that's starting to become really trendy too, as well.
Yeah, I just started like, my roommate was like, "You got a lot of them." I'm like, "Well, I'm practicing." It's like it's a learning process, It's like I've got a bunch of them that I really, really still like, but up until like about a week ago, was my first time where it came out exactly the way like I envisioned it. Like what, like,
dang.
Okay, that's what I was hoping for. It was like awesome. And yeah, the water one that I showed you with the beach.
Yeah.
That one came out exactly the way I wanted to too. I was like, okay, this is starting to work now. So
that's what's awesome. I think that's what intrigued me about like your passion for expanding. Besides just like you could have just stuck with airbrushing, like, and that's just been it. But like you went to tattooing, acrylic pouring, you do painting. It's just you have a whole spectrum of art that you're just engaged in.
I got turned on one time to somebody asked me if I could do a charcoal painting. Or it was actually charcoal pastels, and I didn't even know what it was. She just showed me this painting, and I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. And so she's like commissioned me to do this, and then I like did the research on how to do it, and it was a lot more than I thought. And but it was so amazing because it was like you had to do everything with your hands, and it was like almost like finger painting and stuff. And like I noticed like washing my hands all the time because I was getting colors and other stuff because I was like getting gunked up and all that stuff. But when I was finally done with it and it came out, I was super happy with it, and she was amazed with it. But I had this hunger for like wanting to see like what other things were out there. Like I remember being at a music festival, and there was a guy airbrushing there, and his style was completely different than any style that I had ever seen. And I had studied and lived airbrushing for like 15 years. And and his wife was Japanese and used a certain type of old school Japanese stencil with like inks and stuff like that. And he took basically the same concept except using the airbrush. And it was just so like, I don't know, it made me realize that I really needed to open my horizons to like other stuff out there. And it's like, even I've been so anti like technology, and that's bitten me in the ass for a lot of things. But I started picking up the Procreate thing too, because I was in the tattoo shop and I'd have a pile of papers around me to do like some lettering on somebody's back, and somebody would come in with the iPad and be like, what are you working on? Oh my gosh, bro, here. And then all of a sudden the printer's already going, and I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, hold on, is this all right? I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm like sitting there still cutting and all that stuff. And that's when I knew I needed to get an iPad and figure that stuff out. But it wasn't as easy as I thought it was either. It's just like I thought the way they made it look, by just touch this and and do that, and I was like, okay.
Did you work with Adobe Photoshop at all?
I never did.
Oh, okay.
Nope. I tried to, and that was before, when I tried to, it was before like there was a lot of tutorials about that type of stuff. So I'd be interested in trying it again, because I've been doing all the tutorials with Procreate and everything, and like my Procreate stuff has been coming out really cool too, because same type of thing. I'm able to put my tattooing knowledge and the airbrushing knowledge into the same thing. I actually even learned how you recreate the pens and stuff, or the
brushes.
The brushes, and made, because I was using one of their airbrushes that they have, and all the blenders and all that stuff, and I'm like, nothing does a dagger stroke. I'm like, you have to have a dagger stroke. Like, I remember Terry Hill always saying, once you've learned a dagger stroke, you can perfect airbrushing. So I was like, oh, I got to learn how to turn one of my brushes into a dagger stroke. So yeah, it's been really cool.
Can you look up dagger stroke? I want to see what that looks like. Dang. Yeah, I would say with the iPad, because I learned Photoshop like once I graduated high school, when I first got like my drawing tablet. And like I think with the Procreate, I think with Procreate, I think that's the way to go now, because I feel like there's so much, like with Adobe Photoshop, you can no longer own it. You have to pay a monthly subscription, and it's a little overkill if you're just drawing, in my opinion. You could, if you just buy Procreate and you have an iPad, I mean, that's just like a one and done.
Right.
You could save it as a PDF, so you could separate all the layers and stuff if you want to do that.
Yeah. I love Procreate. It's awesome. It's totally changed me, even like, because I never did iPads or anything. I was always a Android person, but I'm like,
same.
Okay, let me dive into this world.
Well, I tried pastels. Like I tried expanding, because I went to I did community college to get an AA in art, and I did painting. I did like 2-dimensional design, and I did like just drawing. So I learned how to do like graphite, charcoal, and like pastel. I thought pastel was actually my favorite one because I kind of sucked at painting.
Was that oil pastels or the charcoal pastels that I was talking about?
Charcoal pastels.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you're talking about it, it did make me cringe because I have that feeling of rubbing your skin against paper. It's almost like another one of my kind of peeves is grabbing like ice with your bare hands. Like it kind of gives me goosebumps and makes me shiver a little bit. And it sucks because when I was working with pastels, they taught, okay, you could use like a napkin or a paper towel or whatever, but it just absorbs too much of it.
Right.
But when you use your skin, it blends so perfectly well. And
Doesn't
so
it?
I would just be like, grinding my teeth is like, gotta make it right.
That's awesome.
But like, I love the way that looks. It almost has like an airbrush feel for pastels, like very soft.
Yep. Yeah, I was really impressed with it as a medium. I was blown away.
Do you paint with like brushes at all, or do you just mainly do the airbrush paint?
Yeah, so I freehand airbrush, which is most of the designs that I do, like, you know, but no, I don't paint with a brush like on canvas. That's all freehand airbrush. There's no brushes or anything. That's all, you know, even the finest lines are all just done with freehand airbrushing. I mean, I can put some stencils on there and stuff. Like there are certain areas like around the eye that I used like a little piece of plastic to make the black darker and the white highlights, not create overspray or anything.
Yeah.
But no, I've tried acrylic, but I didn't like the way it blended. The one thing about the airbrush for me, it's like that I painted in 4 hours.
Oh shit! Yeah, you get a lot more.
The girl with the hair that you saw that I showed you,
Yeah.
I painted that in like 4.5 hours. I spent an hour on her face and 3.5 hours on her hair. Dang. It's like, you see how big that canvas is. Could you imagine trying to paint that with anything else? Like how long it would take? I
think that's why I don't like it. It's just I'm not super into painting just because of how long it takes, and also. I like the precision aspect of drawing with like a pencil, or if you're drawing with a pen on a tablet, that kind of thing. Right. And it's like I cannot get those fine details. Like I see some like, you know, painting, they'll do like draw throughs or whatever, and I'll be like, dang, I didn't know you could get that fine of a line with paint. Whenever I don't know if it's the brush or whatever, because I try finding the brushes and it's just the skill that they have is just. Right. And you know, you're so inspired by it, like, oh, I want to try that, and you're like, fuck, it's not coming out the same way.
That's when I tried acrylic on canvas with the brush. I was trying to do a beach scene, a typical beach scene that I had airbrushed a million times, no problem, and nothing was working the way. And I'm like, I picked a simple subject that I could airbrush in my sleep, and I just couldn't get blending right. No, I mean, it looked like a kid did it. I was just like, wow, okay. Yeah, the blends were horrible. I was not happy with that as a medium. I have seen people use acrylic and do blending and do stuff that I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. But I never took the time to learn that. You know, I my first year of airbrushing, I hurt my back working for Circuit City, and I wasn't even gonna.
Circuit City, holy shit.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to. I had a newborn son, and I basically was just trying to provide for my child. And I was just going to basically just draw for myself and for family members. I mean, everybody always knew gifts were going to be, you know, artwork from me, like some art project or something crazy. And
such a good gift, such a good talent to have, to just be like, oh, it's like not even thinking of the you don't have to spend money aspect. It's just, I got to create something special that I made just for you.
Yeah. No, and it's awesome. It's like, and now that it's like actually a professional thing that comes out, it's not just like some, you know. And I always did some really cool. My mom has a little ET that on her Christmas tree that she had some extra felt from like some crafting that she was doing, and I guess I sewed it up when I was like 5 years old, and it's even got a little piece of fluorescent plastic that I sewed onto the tip of the finger so it glows like. It's got the little heart on it and everything. And my mom still puts it up and it's like, wow, that actually, I show it to anybody that comes in. I'm all, what is that, E.T.? I'm like, yeah, I did that when I was 5.
Dang. That's crazy. I think the only thing I have from my parents with their Christmas ornament, I think I have my handprint. I think that was all I was really capable at that age. But we got some more art also to show as well. Because, like I said, you do other stuff besides tattooing. So yeah, there was that one, the walking in a wiener wonderland.
Yeah, that's inspired by Chloe, our wiener dog. She this year broke her back and she wasn't able to walk, and she was paralyzed. And they told us that it was going to be $1,200 or $12,000, and she may not be able to make it. And literally, I was smart enough to look at other avenues and was just not going to take no for an answer. She wasn't in a lot of pain. Ended up taking her to a chiropractor here in San Jose, and within 3 months had her 100%, which was amazing.
Holy crap.
Yeah, but this is something that I started doing on Procreate. I created that on Procreate. But
that was really good.
Thanks. Yeah, I love that little wiener dog. She's definitely inspired me to do some stuff.
Plus, it's like super catchy too with the phrase "walking in a wiener wonderland." And then another one we had is the shirt you're wearing. I didn't know that you were going to be wearing the shirt, but you're doing tie dye too.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Eye of Sauron or whatever is what that's supposed to be. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of tie dyeing. Everybody always gives me crud about I guess I'm a colorful person, but yeah, I just like bright colors. So tie dyeing is something but I actually, before I came here, my fingers aren't too dyed. I wore gloves today, but I think I perfected my the Grateful Dead Steal Your Face. I've been working on that to try and get it to be dyed. So you can actually see the full Steal Your Face and the teeth and the eyes in it and everything. Yeah. Which it's not that easy to get like a picture into tie dyeing, because I mean I can get like this, but it's just basically folding it and just measuring to to where that's going to be. But to really get an image to look like something, it takes a little bit of work, and it's a little. I saw a TikTok from somebody doing it, and I thought it looked really easy. And me, like I said, just, I could try that. I should try that. It's not as easy as it looks. So, but I wasn't taking no for an answer. So today I'll have to show you the results when I unveil it tomorrow in 2 days. Hell yeah! I literally just did it this morning, but yeah, I think
that reminds me.
I nailed it.
There's this one thing on Instagram I saw. I don't know if you'd be able to find it, but if you could search, it's like space tie dye or something. I don't know if we're gonna find it, but there's this one. It's like this viral person who makes like tie dye, and they make these crazy ones.
Is that the username or the trend?
I think it's the trend.
Oh, that's not what I meant.
But they make the ones where it almost looks like fractals, like digital. Like it almost looks like it's not dye at all.
There's a guy that collaborates with the person that I'm talking about that I saw.
I don't think it's that one, but that one still looks cool though. That one looks like it's like paint splatter.
Yeah.
Like, see if you just Google or put on the just put tie dye on the hashtag. That might be it, and it might just be one of the top ones. But I loved, dude. I have freaking like I don't know 5 tie dye shirts.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because like I freaking love them, and I found this company that makes them with Pima cotton, and I love Pima cotton.
What's Pima cotton? I've never heard of it.
It's typically organic cotton from Peru.
Okay.
And since it doesn't have the chemicals in it, it doesn't pill. So like this is one of the shirts I have. It's not tie dye, but it's like heathered. But like, yeah, it doesn't get those bumps and stuff like a lot of like kind of cheaper clothing does, and it just feels like, I don't know, a lot more breathable. So I've just been kind of on a kick of if I find anything Pima cotton, I'm like, okay, I got to buy that. And when they had like 3 shirts that are tie-dye, I'm like, okay, got to get those too. I got to get all of them.
Check out Pushing Rainbows. That guy's taking tie-dyes to a level that's actually what I'm practicing to do is get
really
to, like the level that he's at.
Pushing Rainbows.
I think it's one word.
Dang. I love tie-dye, especially like whenever you make like with the one that you have wearing, it's like it's not a typical color that you would see someone wearing for tie-dye.
That's weird. Oh, my phone's in the car. Yeah, no,
Oh, you put a G in it. I think it's push in.
Oh, I tried the N at first.
Really?
Let's see. But yeah, you could go.
Is that? It's actually the person's name. Are you checking a trend? Or it's
the search might not be that great.
Oh, well.
Try putting in Google. Pushing Rainbows Instagram. I think that might be.
Yep, that's him. Look at
that. Push Rainbows.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's sick.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I understand how you're saying. Like, it would be hard to make that design.
$500 a piece.
Holy crap!
And he doesn't mass produce them. He auctions them off. They're amazing, though.
The freaking mandala or the fractal.
Yeah, that's actually another artist that he gives that to that does that. They trade off.
Whoa, I really like that the middle one, the green, blue.
Uh-huh.
Plus that too, making it symmetrical.
Totally.
Damn. That's really dope. But I had another, I think what was the next segment? Oh, this is just, okay, so it's, your actual drawings. So this was the dog.
Yep, there's Chloe again.
That's the same dog?
Yep. Yeah, that was when she was a little younger, and I was doing that. That's colored pencil on Bristol board.
Aw.
So I was trying to give her more like a portrait feel.
Yeah.
That's airbrush on canvas. That was at Zebra Tattoo in Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
Mo commissioned that for me. He was the owner of Zebra.
Dang, that's sick. Like the Japanese mask?
Yeah,
or,
the Oni mask.
I've seen those a lot recently.
That piece was amazing. That is 18 feet high by about 16 feet wide.
Wow.
You can see like the Beatles that are done as Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, but they're all zombies. And then you can see like behind that, like all the little silhouettes of like all the rockers partying. You
oh shit! I did not see that.
You see like people swinging guitars and the drums being played, and then like a couple of the little demon silhouettes are screaming into the microphone. Yeah, and all that glows in the black light too.
Really? Yeah. Where was this?
That was at Betty's Rock Bar in Walnut Creek. It was a pretty large. Used to be O'Kearney's. It was a bar for years, but they turned it into a bar with a huge stage with a big dance floor instead of a pool area. And
wow.
Yeah, they used to have a bunch of live bands that played there all the time. It did well for about like 6 or 7 years, but then I guess it got painted over.
Oh shit!
Because it's not Betty's Rock Bar anymore, and
oh,
I don't think it's there anymore.
You don't know what it is?
Yeah, I haven't been inside since then. I know it's not a bar.
So. Well, it's just like a Red Lobster or something.
Huh? Yeah.
That'd be funny though if it was a Red Lobster and they still kept the mural.
Totally. Yeah.
Dang.
When I owned my shop in Dublin, that's what I did was I muraled the walls just completely with, nothing but airbrushing. And like people would walk in, they didn't even want to look at my portfolio. They're just like, "Oh my gosh, who did all this artwork?" I'm like, "Me," and they're like, "Oh, okay, I'm ready." I'm like, "Well, I'm a tattoo artist, not just an airbrush artist, so you better look at my tattoo work." But
Dang.
yeah, just.
How difficult is it to do mural work? I always feel like I always like drawing smaller, like dimensions, just because I have more control over it. And it's just
the amazing thing about doing murals is you literally have that feeling of stepping into something and coming out of it.
Yeah.
Like everything is so disproportionate that you're just getting into the zone of just making sure that what you're looking at right there is shaded the way and colored the way you want. And then you have to step back out of it and then look at it again. And it's like, it's a very, it's a weird experience. It's really cool. I actually love it. When you get done with it, it's almost like you feel like a part of you that, I don't know. I've been amazed at some of the stuff that I've done that's larger like that. When you step back and see it all complete and done, it's like, wow, dude, I did that. Like, I'm often guilty of that. When I first got awarded for a motorcycle that I painted it in the garage of my my buddy's house, and he wasn't giving me a bunch of money to paint it, but I cleared it, primered it, did the murals on it. Wow. He was so proud of it. He took it and put it in the cab of his truck and then swung the laptop around, put a nick in it. So I had to put 2 more murals on it to cover the nick. But yeah, it beat Jesse James, Arlen Ness, Ron Sims, all those guys there. I was literally pulling up with my buddy's truck, and the bike was in the back with a 2x12 to roll it out. And here's Jesse James with West Coast choppers, and he's pulling the motorcycles off with a scissor lift from like the upper level, you know. And I'm like trying to wheel this bike down and keep it, on a 2x12. And I'm just like, I'm not worthy, But it was crazy because Sunday day they're like, second place, custom paint, Anthony Sanchez. And my buddy's like, bro, they're calling you. They called it like 3 times. And I'm like looking around like, what paint job is that? Like, it must be good. I want to go. I was literally thinking like, I'm going to go check it out like after the awards. And my buddy's like, dude, they're giving it to you, bro. It was a trip.
Dang. Did you have to paint on a ladder in order to get like that height?
That's scaffolding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to have scaffolding. Ladders I can do for like smaller projects and stuff like that. I've used that for like kids' bedrooms, but no, either a rollaway scaffolding or that was actually large scaffolding. That's a very large piece. But yeah, the airbrushing is amazing for it. Like I said, it's versatile. People look at it and they think, it's going to take forever, and it's like, I got that mural done in like less than 10 hours.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was crazy. It took 2 hours to get all the sketching and drawing out. And, that was the most tedious part about it. Airbrushing, you're using so much of your body. You put on some good music, it's almost like a dance. It's crazy. Because you're using body mechanics. You can't sit there and do this. You can never be accurate enough. There's so many pivot points in your wrist and even with tattooing, when I'm running a line, I'm not using my wrist to get this. I'm locking my wrist and pulling my hand the way it needs to be to get those lines and to keep your right depth and stuff without, But yeah, with the airbrushing, with the mural, it's awesome because texturing can be a big deal. With having to brush it on, you have to have like no texturing at all. With airbrushing, you can get away with quite a bit of texturing unless it's like super heavy texturing where it's just going to create pockets to where I have overspray all over the place. I can cover a lot of stuff that,
I was going to say
most people can't.
I never thought about that because I know down our street there was a lady who was painting like it looks like a kind of like the, I don't know, like a barricade, like down the street. And I was wondering, like, how is she, like, what kind of paint? Like, I'm just being ignorant. It's because I don't know it. But, like, what kind of paint do you use so that way it is able to be thick enough to, stay on an outdoor environment?
Right.
And then I remember she was doing, like, half of it throughout the week. And then it started raining. None of it washed away. And then, like, she came back whenever it started, when it was, like, better weather.
Well, was she using an airbrush or was she
She was painting it. She was hand painting it. I was like, dang. She took a long time, though. She took, like, probably 2-3 weeks, probably, if you go down the street by the school.
Oh, okay.
You'll probably see it on your way out.
Sometimes they use exterior house paint. I'll use One Shot a lot of times because it holds up to almost anything. And you can reduce it to airbrush it, too, if you need to.
Uh-huh.
So One Shot's great, but it's it's a lead-based paint, so you have to wear.
Yeah.
You have to wear all your Tyvek suit. And,
yeah. Hopefully it doesn't catch on fire and no one breathes in.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Well, you also have a magazine here as well. I don't know if we'll be able to show it, but you said you did some things in the magazine.
Well, yeah. Some of the motorcycles that I airbrushed were featured in a couple magazines. This was August. What is it? October 2003.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it was crazy because the cover bike got, I think, 5 pages, and we got 6 pages but we only got the cover corner. But yeah, this gentleman in Antioch, I airbrushed his motorcycle, and yeah, I got a little print for it.
Yeah, let me take a picture of that so I could put it on. That looks sick though. How'd you did this person just like hit you up and?
Yeah, so basically, the guy that I was doing the bike that I was just talking to you about,
Uh-huh.
the one that I painted in the garage, he actually owned a motorcycle shop. That was one of the first places I started tattooing, and he just happened to have a client that wanted some airbrushing done on their motorcycles. So
those colors are sick too. They're like it's like a dark blue, dark green, really heavy on the black too. So it's like really dark, and it's like a skull on the back tire cover. I see another skull face on the is that the gas tank?
yeah, it's got some like claws clawing at like some clouds rolling by and stuff.
Dang, I really love that color scheme.
Nice.
That looks sick.
Yeah, it was a fun bike to do, and it won a lot of stuff. I was actually really impressed. I couldn't believe it, and I actually got some print. It says custom finish Anthony Sanchez. Where is it? Somewhere. Can't believe that's loose.
Dang. That's the thing. It's like I like how motorcycle culture you have like the ability to like trick out certain sections of it. It's not like a car where it just wouldn't be the same if you were to trick out certain section on a car.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's the one thing about like with tattooing as well. It's like it's funny how everything has evolved the way it is now for me, because like sometimes I'll sit there in the tattoo shop and see like people put something on the wrong way or anything, and it's like it has to flow aesthetically with the body. It's we're not just sticking bumper stickers on trucks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially with women. I mean, you know, there's certain places that you can't just put something where it's gonna say a certain message or do a certain, you know, it's like, so.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I'm not into that style of the sticker placement where it's just like a bunch of random, I know that's more of her style. She likes a bunch of flash tattoos and just, they don't have any sort of like central theme.
Right.
It's just, she likes the artwork and that's pretty much it. And I don't really have a preference either, but I don't like the sticker thing. I try to think of something to incorporate, but it's hard to do that if you have different artists.
Right.
Yeah. But that makes us go on to our next segment, which we have a game. We like to do a game towards the end of all the like, you know, the interviews and stuff. So I'll have Maddie describe it because I've not played this one yet.
Okay, so I like to kind of theme the game towards our artist.
Mm-hmm.
So this week I did some tattoo research on like classic tattoos and their meanings.
Uh-huh.
But just gonna throw disclaimers out there that like lots of famous imagery, of course, has many different meanings. These are just kind of the ones that were the most prevalent in my research, or were like their origins and their meanings. So yeah, just a little game. I'm sure there's gonna be some different interpretations.
I know I'm gonna be terrible. I have no idea meanings.
Okay, so we have an American traditional style, the swallow tattoos, and we have some options here.
Okay, so A is honor a dead sailor. B, a sailor got married. C is a sailor has sailed 5,000 miles. I'm going to guess B because there's 2 of them, but I don't know if the thing is, I'm not knowledgeable enough to know if each swallow tattoo has 2 of them, so it could honestly be honor a dead sailor. I'm going to change it to A, honor a dead sailor.
Yeah, I would take that one too. I honestly don't know. I don't think it's sailor got married. That doesn't.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing with the 2, but I don't think there's too many sailors that are trying to tell everybody they got married. That's I got married in the military.
So this one actually, I got this one from Sailor Jerry website because that's what everyone thinks of when they think American traditional.
Right.
It's actually
What?
Yeah, a sign that they've sailed 5,000 miles.
And did it say what was? What's the symbolism of it?
Yeah. What's this? Did it explain this some?
It did. I did not write that down.
All right. So I would have not guessed 5,000 miles. If it would have been that, I would have think that they would have something that had to do with 5.
Thank you. That's what I was. I'm like, is there 5 petals?
Yeah.
Is there 5 leaves? Is there 2 beaks?
Polynesian.
All right. So in the Polynesian style, the stingray symbolizes one of these.
Protection. I watched Moana.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna guess luck at the sea. Fuck.
This one had a lot of meanings. So it's kind of
right.
hard to come up with the wrong answers.
You guys haven't seen Moana?
Oh, I have.
I saw it once. I'm not a movie person, but I remember. I think I saw it 2 different times. So I watched it once, but in 2 different periods of time.
Yeah. And if
I
I'm
like that
taking
style.
these
That's pretty cool.
photos from a real artist, I'm trying to credit them on the bottom.
Yeah,
So
George
another
Davis,
disclaimer, we don't
Perpetual
own
Roots
any of the
Studio.
artwork that we're showing.
Okay.
Alrighty. So the Lucky 13, I'm sure everyone's seen this, especially on Friday the 13th.
I think good luck. Well, actually, I think it's either A or B, which A is good luck charm, B celebrating what others fear, C is 13 years at sea. And I swear to God, if it has to do with the sea. I'm going to guess B, celebrating what others fear, because the cat.
I thought it was just a good luck charm.
Oh, shit, I got one.
There you go.
Technically, good luck charm is one of the reasons, but when I was researching the origins of it, that's kind of how it started. Is that 13 was such a sign of bad luck, and it was you're against the norm if you're getting one of
That's
these.
what I thought, when people get black cat tattoos, that they're considered unlucky, but you're kind of celebrating because a lot of people like black cats, even though that they have superstition attached to them.
All right, I think this is the last one, the Japanese Tengu.
Okay. Huh.
B? Ward off demons?
I think I'm guessing either B or C also. So it's A, worship of a deity, B, ward off demons, C, reminder to adhere to a samurai code. Since we're tied, I'm gonna go with C. Reminder to adhere to. Oh
Good
shit!
job. That's just a whole other culture that
Yeah.
it's amazing. Some of the Akuzu, I believe it's called, or whatever, Akuzo, the mafia that.
Oh yeah.
Basically, that's why they did that, was to hide, because they were. They weren't legally allowed to wear their robes or whatever, so they had them tattooed on.
Oh shit! Damn.
But
That's crazy, because I know, because even that tattoo style, it looks neo-traditional too, which was pretty cool.
mm-hmm.
But yeah. So
Do you want to show these?
yeah, we can show these right here. I don't know. I don't know which one to show. I could get one and you could get one, but it's gonna be. Let's see if we could. I think my side could probably use this one since it's bigger. Okay. And you can extend that out too.
Okay.
Oh wow. Yeah, you can see a pretty good amount of it.
Awesome.
So this one over here on my side, this one's black and it's like black, white, gray, just grayscale. It's like a skull, like a serpent's eye,
Yep.
snake eye. Right now I'm having the reflection hit me, so it's like very like bright. The eye right
shiny.
here. Yeah, exactly. It's super shiny right here. And then you said you use stencils for some parts on the eye, like maybe on those parts.
Not
or?
so much a stencil, but just like a barrier. So it's just basically a piece of cardboard that I just bend to keep from spraying overspray, just to arch the eye.
I really like the depth of the eye sockets. I think that's why I love skull drawing so much. I love the depth of that.
And that's what I love about the airbrushes. You can just create that depth that's just and in such an amount of time. It's like it keeps up with my imagination. I'll start having a vision of something, and as I'm like drawing, putting the detail in the eye, I'm already thinking about what's going on up here and what's going there. And it's like the one thing about the airbrush is it can keep up with my my thought process. I'm not sitting here putting the details and all this to get up to that in 5 hours. You know what I mean? Which it's pretty fun to do.
And then what's on your side then? For some reason, my first instinct, I thought of like Ghostbuster ghosts, like color scheme.
Oh, yeah, like Slimer kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got kind of a Slimer look to him. This is honestly, a lot of these are just, I call them brain farts. I literally walk up to the canvas, don't know what I'm gonna do, and just literally just start diving into it and doing it. I literally had just the nose and the mouth of this, and really didn't even like it, and didn't touch it for about 8 months. And then I did the eyebrows, or right above it, and then like just decided, wait a minute, I'm gonna turn those into like maybe devil horns that turn into teeth. And then it just kind of starts unfolding, and it just, yeah, it's one of those things that when I'm done with it, I'm like, okay, where'd that come from? But, I enjoy it. It's definitely something that I, have a lot of fun doing.
Yeah, man, it's like the freaking the just like the soft shading on it really gives that like nice smooth texture to it.
Yeah.
Especially the lips too. Are those the dagger? The dagger?
Dagger strokes?
Yeah.
Yep. Those dagger strokes.
There you go. Now we got an example.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to use that one on the internet. We have one right here.
They're all over. Like you said, once you learn it, that's it's being able to get your airbrush to flow the way you want it to, and that constantly everywhere. But
hell yeah,
it's so funny. Like I would, looking back on it and knowing like all the stuff that I've been able to do with it. I mean, I've been living off my artwork for 32 years, and it's just been such. I get to do what I love every day of my life. And it's like I said, I mean, people come to me and are like, I want you to put it on me till the day I die. It's like, you can come get a canvas, you can get this, you can get that, but you like trust me enough that that you're willing to take it to the grave. And just being able to take something like that somebody's unhappy with, that somebody looks at and they're like, I'm stuck with this thing for the rest of my life. I have this guy that's calling me right now, like he's called me about once every 2 or 3 months for the past 6 months, and he's like, bro, people are still complimenting me on it, and you just can't get over it, because when anybody would ask, oh, you got it, because he had a big tattoo on his arm to where you could see it under the sleeve, and everyone was like, oh, let me see your tattoo. He's like, bro, I can't tell you. He's like, at least once a week everybody keeps asking to see my tattoo, and I hate it. And now he calls me, and he's like, bro, he's all, every day almost I get a compliment on your tattoo. It's just, and it's just so awesome to know that he can put part of that past behind him, and I'm a part of that, and it's not twice as big and twice as black.
Damn, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I love all the artwork you've been doing, and we shared a lot of your stuff. I think it's about time we wrap it up, though.
Awesome.
And where else could they follow you on Instagram?
Instagram, Anthony One Tattoo. Contact me there. My Facebook is crud. I don't even know the handle on it. Because it's my name, Anthony Sanchez. There's a million Anthony Sanchez's.
Yeah.
So
it's okay. We could always put the link once we get it at the end, and just put it in the description.
Set it all up. And there's the Etsy page as well that I can get the link for. So.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Well, it was great having you over here. It was nice meeting you, and I'm really surprised that you actually brought like physical art to see. This is freaking huge. So
sorry.
Oh yeah, man.
Didn't mean to overwhelm you, but I thought I'd bring something that I just got done with that one recently, and that one honestly was the same way. I did the skull and walked away from it, and like 5 months later went ahead and finished it because I don't know. I wasn't ready to finish it, but.
All right, man. Well, it was good having you on to our podcast, and hope to see more of your art in the future, man.
I hope you do
All right,
too.
it's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.